Soma fans. So I just thought I'd do a little video on my thoughts of the Myth of Soma in 2023. So after about 2 years of not playing, I've had a little lad, and I got back into the game just before Christmas. So I thought I'd just share my thoughts on the game after playing the game for God knows 20 odd years, what I think of it in its present day. So a few things that have changed since I last played, and some really big improvements that the game masters have done, are the drop files have improved a lot on the leveling monsters. So things like the Shanis and the Troll drop relevant things for that level now. I've noticed really the Trolls are actually really good drops. I've leveled a couple of characters there now, and so yeah, it's a lot better kind of just the leveling through the drops that you get as you level a character are really worth it. Also, the quest tracker, I think, is a really nice implement to the game, so you can see how many monsters you've got to kill on certain quests. And I think as well you can actually choose to where to put it on the screen. I've not done that yet, but someone said you can do that. And the immunity parts, I think this is actually probably the best improvement I've seen in the game, because there's always been a lot of issues in the game where people literally can't go and hunt and level the character. I know when I originally made Matty, I don't know, 6 years ago, whatever it was, I was just being hunted so much that I couldn't play the game and had to log out. And now with the immunity parts, at least you've got an opportunity to have a couple of hours where you can sit there knowing that you're safe to hunt. You get these through the daily tokens as well, so you've got to actively kind of do something in the game to get them. But I think this is a really nice thing, and I think it stops a lot of issues. It stops the game masters getting mithered a little bit, by he's PK'd me too much, I can't hunt, blah 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 blah. And we think the less pressure of on the GMs, the better. So I think there's some really nice improvements. There's obviously a few more as well, but these are the ones that I really wanted to mention. It's nice. It's a nice little kind of leveling with the drops and the like I say, tracking everything and the immunity. A Horde mode, this is something new. I never played this until recently. So this is a little bit like a zombie tower defense type thing, where you have waves of enemies. It gets gradually harder throughout it, and I actually really enjoy this. You've got to work together as a team. So sometimes, like if I'm on a mage, I'll maybe do like a mass heal on the bosses until the very end, or I might cure people, and archers can take certain monsters down, mages can take certain monsters down. So I really like this. I really like this mode. I think it's quite cool. The only issue I've got with this mode, I'm going to come to some issues in the game later on in this video, but just the round 10 sometimes takes as long as round 1 to 9. The crab boss, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But I think that round just takes way too long, and a lot of people are just quitting at round 9 now and not even trying to get past that. But this boss you can see on the screen here, how do you pronounce it? Is it Geduza? He's really fun. He gets harder the lower health he gets, and it feels like an achievement to 1, kill him, and obviously 2, if you actually get the drop. I don't think I've got the drop yet on this, but if you can get to this boss, it's quite hard to save your pots and your potions to the end boss. But I really think this boss is really good fun. It's just that the round people are not really going that far, because round 10 takes so long. So I would half the boss of round HP of round 10 and probably quarter the minions as too many minions. That's what I would do personally, and I think a lot of people agree with that who I've spoken to. So although the game's improved in many ways and it's a lot more kind of enjoyable just to casually play, in my opinion the game's harder than it ever was before. And I want to talk about a couple of things that are really quite serious, really, with this game. So really back in the past when I really played last, or even when I first started playing, you could go and get the weapons, the end game weapons, the weapons that you want from, mags or drop stinger bows and things like that. And you could go and hunt for them, and it wasn't that... it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't the end of the world really to try and get one of these weapons, and people could compete quite well when the Stinger and the Cybo were the top weapons. When the Negaware, the Negamare weapons were introduced, I thought they were absolutely brilliant, because they were very, very balanced. And after a few quests were added, and I think they started dropping hard tags at mags at an early point, it was quite good, and you didn't need really that many of them to get a decent one. And the bows were a lot slower, and the bows' damage was a lot lower than they were previously compared to the other weapons. So there was a lot of variation in the weapons when the Negamare weapons came out. A lot of people use sword, a lot of people use a spear, and the knuckle was probably the best weapon, I think, in the Negamare weapon. And again, the axe was very good, especially when the M tags came out. So I think that point was really when I last played the game, and I felt like the weapons were quite good and they were quite balanced at that point. So I'd never seen Valor weapons until I started playing again a couple of months ago. And the issue really is now that, like I say, I think this game is a lot harder than it's ever been in the past, and you have to put a lot more hours in now and grind a lot more to really get to any point to compete in this game now. And I'm going to cover over this in the next few slides. So just to get a chance of a hard or an epic tag weapon, you have to spend 150 scrolls and 5 million, 5 gold piles, which is basically 5 million bar. The Horde mode, again, if that was improved a little bit and more people did it, it wouldn't be that hard to get. But at the moment, it's pretty difficult to get 150. You probably, a casual player, if they're doing one Horde mode a day, they might get between, depending on how long it is, maybe 10 and 30 scrolls, depending on how good their character is, and then how obviously long the waves go. So you're probably talking maybe, let's say you get one a week. You can get one a week of these rolls. From my experience, me and my friend, we've had, I would guess, probably 7 or 8 goes at this now. And we've had one epic tag in that many goes. And I think other people it's a similar chance as well. We've had probably more rares than the rest, a few hards, but only one epic. So it's quite difficult to get an epic tag, and that's really what most people kind of want to get now, because the attack difference between a hard and epic is quite significant. Especially if you're spending a lot of time on upgrades and a lot of resources on upgrading these weapons. Also, something that I wasn't sure to touch on in this video, but I think it's quite important, and I think if you're a player of Soma for many years, you understand this. There's always been a black market on Soma. People know from, 6 years ago, my original character got banned from buying from China. China were, sellers of all sorts of things back in the day. And I was chatting to an old friend when I came back, and I was saying, what's the deal with these bows and things like that? And he just casually said, like, he sold an epic bow for £750, which I just thought that was absolutely mental. And I remember years ago on Soma when Stinger bows were the top bow. It was either Stinger or Apis bows. It was a long time ago. And one of them got sold for £100 just before Christmas, because whoever sold it had to buy the kids Christmas presents. And nobody could believe that somebody had spent £100 on a bow, and it was a +8 whatever bow at the time, Stinger or Apis bow. And that's the difference between the game. The game's gone from £100 for a top weapon on the black market to now £750 for not really even a top weapon. It's still only epic tag. I don't know what speed it was or anything, but it's. I just think that the game is so difficult now that people are spending silly money. And I've seen, other people talk about how much other things cost, and I just think it's crazy how people can spend that much on a single item, if that makes sense. £750 for one bow. That just shows how difficult it is at the moment, and I think that's something that really needs addressing by the game masters, that people feel they have. Well, it's up to them what they spend the money on. At the end of the day, if somebody wants to spend £750 on a bow, I think they should be able to do it. I've done it in the past. Like I say, I got caught for it and I got banned for it. Never in a million years would I spend £750 on one of these bows nowadays, though, and that's my opinion. And I think, again, it needs addressing, which is what I want to cover on these slides now. So first of all, I think the imbalance of the weapons is pretty crazy, and I think Ravensoul did a post about this, that the bow is so much more powerful than what it should be, especially compared to the Nega weapons. So if you just look at the speed of the weapons as well, like Knuckle is 1,000 and bow's 1,200. Knuckle should be a lot faster, really. That's the whole point of a Knuckle being a fast weapon. And the bow's max damage is higher than the sword's damage. The bow's minimum damage is the same as Axe's minimum damage. And everyone's gone back to Myth of Bows now. And everyone's, when I originally brought this up, people were saying, well, it's not because you don't have a bow. I do have a bow now, which I'll show you in a minute. But I do think there needs a balance of these weapons, and a few people have suggested certain things about reducing speeds or increasing damage of certain weapons, like the Knuckle, for example. I don't think nerfing the bows now would make any difference, because obviously people have made them, but I think a balance of this, and I think this needs actually a proper discussion in between a lot of players. Sorry. To see what the solution to this is, but I do think there's a big imbalance. I think bow is way better than all of these other weapons, to be honest with you. You've got the range, and when I spoke to, I think when iSilver came online, or when somebody mentioned these, The original idea, apparently, for the Valor weapons that somebody said was they're meant to be a slower weapon but harder hitting. Now, of course, what happened is people just SS them all. These Swift Spirits had upgraded them, which is like a double toe. If these weapons originally could only be upgraded to +5 with toes, that would make more sense. That means it would be slower. But now, these weapons are actually faster than any of the other weapons in the game at any other level because people are spending the diamonds on them to upgrade them because they are so valuable. And in a nutshell, the DPS is too high. Now, this is a bow that me and my friend have made on the left. And back in the day, if you had a Stinger that was 521 recoil at +8, you would be one of the best bows in the game at a Stinger weapon. Now, this is only a +6, and it's still 521. This has had 6 Swift Spirits on it. The picture on the right is a picture of the fastest bow I've seen in the game at 390. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a bow on any, a Stinger or an Apis or a Cybo or a Nega bow at anything below 400, I don't think. And it's crazy that these weapons are so much higher damage than anything in the past and are now faster than anything in the past because of people upgrading them with Swift Spirits. So again, the damage is way too high on all the weapons, but again, the horse has already bolted from the stable, as you say, so you can't nerf these weapons now. The only really way to nerf it is a couple of ideas I'm going to put in a post, i.e., increasing defense and increasing how many pots you can hit every second or whatever it is. Things like that, but the damage has gone too high, and I don't think if any experienced players came up with this idea originally, they would know this would really be quite game-breaking, and the damage, it's kind of almost impossible to stay alive in PvP, especially if there's more than kind of 3 or 4 players and you're getting hit by a couple of these things. As for mages, I've not done a slide about mages, but I know mages got a lot of nerfs since last time I played. I think the proc was nerfed, and the range damage has been nerfed on mages. And I have a cat mage now, and I think that they're okay. They're still glass cannons. I wouldn't really change too much of mages. I think they still do enough damage. Well, they still do very high damage, but they also die very easy. So, for my opinion, the mages are reasonably balanced. A lot more balanced than the melee weapons and the melee damage. So, if it was a time issue, I would focus more on the melee damage, balancing the weapons, and sorting out so the damage reduction could be done either through faster potting or maybe some sort of defense upgrade or etc. So again, I've got a few ideas. So just to change topic slightly, I think making the game generally easier for new and old players is a big thing. I want to tell you a little story about on Christmas Eve I had my brother-in-law around, and he asked me if I was playing any games at the moment. I said, I went back on this retro game I've been playing on and off for years. I said, I'll show you if you want. And he goes, I started showing him. I said, this is a character, this is the stats, blah, blah, blah. He said, it reminds me of a game I used to play when I was younger called Legend of Mir. And this guy used to play Legend of Mir for, hardcore, should we say, when he was a kid. I said, it's basically the same game as Mir. A lot of people from Mir played this, and I explained how it was on Sky Channel, and they had, was it Killer Cats? I think it was. I used to do the Game Network channel. Anyway, so I started to explain to him how you make a character, and he actually downloaded the game and made a character, and he was wandering around town not knowing what to do and etc. So he said, what to do? I said, well, you got to punch these bugs for quite a long time now. And he said, how long? And I asked someone, I said, I think it's 30 hours. And he's like, what? I've got to punch this for 30 hours to get 32 constitution. I said, yeah, that's what you've got to do. And he didn't play again, to put it simply. He's not played since, and he played for that couple of minutes and then logged out. And I thought, when you think about it like that a new player's got to come in the game and punch something for 30 hours. Like, imagine if you now downloaded Diablo 4 and, the first 30 hours you've got to punch a monster and not do anything. It's a little bit silly in this day and age. And of course, Soma was kind of designed to do that anyway, but it was very different the way the original game compared to what it is now. And again, healing, like you kind of have to heal to 100 int, which takes, somebody said, around 30 days to do it. Again, to kind of make any type of competitive character now, you've got to spend a lot of time doing this. So this is a really easy fix. So you can either make con really quick, so you can get to 32 con in an hour. Your thing is, when you log in, you want to punch a bug, in an hour's time, you can start to kind of see the town a little bit. You probably get chatting to a few people. So if a new player was thinking, oh, okay, I'll punch this, my constitution's going up, and then he can maybe ask questions while he's doing it. Anything more than an hour, I don't know. This is just me and talking about it from my brother-in-law's point, thinking how would he play the game again? Again, same thing with Int. You can still do healing for Int, just make it really quick. And other people have suggested that, which I think's on the next slide or the one after, about you just Int's free to do up until 100 on if you just go and kill mobs with magic. It's no experience, but you get the Int up to 100. I thought that was a good idea as well, so you don't have to sit there AFK healing basically. And people are still getting banned for this, which is madness. Like, I don't know really many people who've stood and looked at the computer and do it. Okay, you tab out and you might play like another screen or something, but people are still getting banned for this, which is crazy. Somebody came up with an idea of prestige mode as well, where if you hit level 135, no matter what character, you could reset your character to level 1, but with 100 in and with 32 con and maybe some other bonuses. I'm not sure what, maybe a little bit more HP or a little bit more bag weight or something like that. That might give people an incentive to kind of redo the character. I think you can do that in other games. I remember one game, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And somebody I saw on the forum today about endgame quest modes as well. So when you do cap, you could do quest for statistics. So you could, kill a certain amount of monsters for 1 dex or 1 strength or 1 int. I thought that was quite a good idea as well. Or maybe you could do it for HP. So when you are capped, you're still kind of doing other things like that. I know that Diablo 3 had a mode where you could add to your statistics, but a little bit slower, something like that. I can't remember now. But yeah, just generally making the game easier for new and old players. So if somebody came back, I text a few old friends, you want to come back to Soma, and they're like, oh no, I haven't got the time, because it is such a grind at the moment. And I was talking to Original Cupid actually today. He was meant to come to the gym with me, but he's a bit poorly, and he was saying, "Oh, how's Soma?" And I said, "It's harder than ever, to be honest with you." And he was contemplating coming playing again, but he only has maybe an hour in an evening. And I said it's harder than ever. It's difficult at the moment. Anyway, so these are my opinion easy wins. I'm going to come to someone else's opinion in a minute, which I've done on the next slide. But again, new characters, easy con and easy heal, or again, if you want to log in, you got 32 con and 100 in, even better. But I think maybe doing the con, getting to know the town, chatting to people, healing or free int to 100, it kind of solves that issue really. Crafting in a bias. Again, I was crafting a little bit on one of the characters the other day, and there's 4 characters fighting over 5k linen. You're getting like maybe 1,000 each or something. I just think like this is crazy. I've got to wait now another hour or whatever it is until more. And again, just make. I don't think you have unlimited, because then the bots can just constantly buy and constantly do it. But just a lot more mats in a bias, because someone makes a character, they'll need to get double SR. And you want to be able to just go to the shop, buy the materials, go to the anvil, do all your crafting, or not the anvil, you know what I mean, the loom and stuff. Do all your crafting and make your character with 2 SRs or 1 SR or whatever. But again, just make it a little bit easier. It's still very grindy to even get to double SR at the moment. Adding 1 to 2 more spawns for the Rap and Spider and Mags. There's only really 1 spawn for the Raps and the Spider, I think. And some issues I found, like one of the rules is you can't chase from spawn to spawn with PKs. It used to be anyway. But there's only 1 spawn for Rap. So if you're on a character that, for example, was in PK the night before, you log on, you want to go and level, and the opposing guild are controlling that spawn, you can't then go and level because you've got 4 hours of this PK thing. Again, it was introduced. I don't really have an opinion on it, but people can't really go and hunt. But if there was another spawn and you can go and hunt there, then again, that just solves all that issue, I think. Same for spiders. Same for mags as well. There's only 1 spawn when you don't own the continental map. I just think more of these spawns is better for the game. Even adding more spawns for lower mobs as well, like the Horde and BLG, etc. I don't think that's a bad thing for anybody. Reducing the pot delay, I think, for the damage reduction, that's probably the easiest thing. I've chatted to a few people about this, and I think a few people said that's probably the quickest thing, is just so you can pot quicker. Halving the valor cost for the weapons and the armor, I think that's a good one as well. Again, that wasn't my idea, that was someone else's actually. Again, 150 for a roll of a weapon is quite a lot, and again, you probably have to do quite a few of those to even get something that you really want to upgrade. So halving the valor costs, because it is quite difficult. I don't think valor drops now from monsters, off the top of my head. It did in the event. Maybe it does on your level, but again, it's very minimal. Very, very minimal. Increasing drop rates, again, I think just generally making the game easier. So more drop rates and balancing the Valor weapons as well. I think these are kind of easier things to make the game a little bit more easier, should we say. Anvil and other things. So this on the left was someone else's opinions. The first 5 on the list were about a cap raise, but probably not going to happen anytime soon, a cap raise, with all the other things that could be improved. So I just took it from number 6 onwards. But half in the respawn time of bosses. Again, more bosses, more drops, more... And again, I think doing the drop file on them, I've mentioned that somewhere over here. Devil cap raise. I don't really do devil soma, but again, he does devil. So again, devil cap raise, making the knuckle a bit better. All new characters gain int experience free until 90, and yeah, that was his idea. Free rest until 110. Again, I think rest is really cool. It's just a little bit obviously it's faster to level now, but the rested, how fast you get rested, I don't think it's been improved at all. So either faster rested or free rested. Yeah, again, there's no harm in letting people level up a little bit quicker. Give human Valor Knuckles a 15-15 attack boost. Again, I think just balancing the weapons a little bit. Probably needs a bigger discussion, but yeah, something like this. 5th Axe, 200 skill. This is another thing as well. Like, if you're stone, you're dead because the damage is so high. If a mage is hitting you or an archer or whatever, you're just dead. And everybody has Axe. So if you're doing if there's a 5v5 fight, there's 5 people who play a role, really, of what a tank role is to stun the enemy. and really no other game you'd have 5 of you with that ability. You know, if it's like a Dota game or anything like that, then you would have probably 1 or 2 of the characters out of the 5 that could really do that. So it's a funny thing with 5th Axe. All the characters have always had it, like all mages have it and most other characters have it. And it's really the only way to stop someone in PvP, really. But everybody has it. And if everybody has it, it's a little bit imbalanced. So yeah, I would probably do something like this and try it. So 5th Axe at 200 skill, try it for a month or 2, and then get some feedback off the players and see what we think. Because again, I don't know how it would turn out. It might just be a case of just everybody runs away and nobody gets killed. But again, it would be a lot more difficult to get a kill that way, a little bit more of a reward to get a kill like it used to be. 4th Aura for humans. I think this is a mage one. I'm not too sure about this one, to be honest. Again, I think it would be cool, like, to have it and maybe try it out. But mages do a high amount of damage, but they do die a lot as well. So yeah, maybe again, something like this you could try for say 30 days and then get some feedback and maybe have a vote on it or something like that. And the anvil, again, I think the anvil is probably the reason why people do play and why people don't play. But I think just making it easier. I think, again, this day and age, it's especially with the Valor weapons, it's so difficult to get a good weapon, and it's so difficult to make a Swift Spirit, especially if you're not, if you're a casual player. If it's +3 for free and then a higher chance, this is for a 250 skill crafter. This gives a huge incentive for people to get 250 skill. Again, more people playing, more people crafting, more people wanting to make some upgrades and things. So I think this is a really good thing. I think the anvil definitely needs an increase, especially the last couple of upgrades are very, very difficult to get. Some things I just randomly thought of, a revamp of Guild Village War. That's quite a big task. Again, that would need a lot of players' input, but it's a little bit stale. It's not changed in however many years. Redo the daily shop. I looked at that the other day. It's like 17 dailies for a small diamond and things like that. Adding things to the daily shop would be nice. Maybe different accessories or different armors. You could add the champ armors and things like that to it. Again, give people incentive to log in and do the dailies. More players, more people playing, more economy. A bar auction house. It's very difficult to trade at the moment with a low user count. But if there's something where you can stick an item in an auction house for bar with a set price, like whatever, I've got a nightmare top, I don't need it anymore, I'm going to stick it in here. I don't know. I don't know how hard that is to implement, but I thought that'd be quite a nice thing to do. I know on Albion, they have an auction house and it's like the centre point of the whole town. Everyone's there. An updated drop file for bosses and some mobs as well. Someone else suggested that, but again, just little improvements. But I think in general, like, make the game just easier, especially for the casual players. Don't make people have to go on the black market. Don't make people have to, do the botting for 24 hours a day, etc. Just make people be able to casually come in, log in, do the quests, get some nice items and PvP and do the events and again, I just think I'd be better for the overall game. I think bringing back the council as well. I was on this council originally, but some players again are really enthusiastic about the game. Mikey C, Ravensoul, Craig, Fox Knight. There's lots of people with a lot of knowledge about this game and really know what needs to be done to make the server and make the game better. And I think when the original council we had, I think it was 6 of us on it, but we did a lot of legwork, like the items in you can buy like the basic sork and the basic weapons from the shop now. Like I did whatever it is, I did all the legwork for that and put it in Excel for Finito to put in. Somebody else did, I think I did the drop files as well for a few of the things. A lot of people that did the legwork for the sound and the sound of the spells and the auras and the decorations and things like that. So there was all sorts of people that they did the legwork for them. But again, it needs to be really impartial people. I think people like Mikey C, Ravensoul, Craig, and people like that, Foxtrick, and they are very impartial, or maybe have. Obviously, there is a bit of a, the rivalry in brackets is always going to be there. Just having an equal number from each side, so no one's trying to get an advantage over the other. But I think bringing back the council is a really good thing, and they can liaise with the players. They can then be the kind of the middle ground between GMs and the player base. But generally, I think what the game needs is a healthy user count where people play daily, an incentive to do quests and make a new character or take part in the games events like SS and Guild Village War or World of the Wars, etc. But give people, a purpose to log in and play, a rewarding purpose to play. So you come in, you can get your drops, you can go and upgrade, you can try different builds, you can try different things out, you can make different characters because it's not too hard now. You don't have to heal for 30 days and punch another brick for, 30 hours, etc. Easier upgrades and gear set makers and people can compete, so less bot in, less black market winners. Again, just make the game a little bit easier so people can join in these things. People will still... So people who love the game and want to play, they will not just stop because they've made a weapon that is a +8. They'll probably try and make another build and then another weapon. So again, it keeps even the hardcore players wanting to play even more, I think. I don't think it would stop anyone playing that, should we say. And healthy competition, PvT and hate soma and D-soma, less toxicity. I think it's getting... I say it's getting better. It used to be a lot worse. I'm kind of... God, I've got over all that toxicity side of things now with it. Like, I want to be able to log in, especially at night time when the kids have gone to bed, and do an event, have a bit of fun on the PvP, get on the voice chat, get to a bit of a catch up with everybody, and at the end of the day, I just say GG. Even if I die 20 times, I don't really care. It's good fun, and that's really what I enjoy. I think having that mindset in Soma now is a lot better. It's a lot better for... I used to get stressed years ago, like playing, and if you die, it's like, oh my god, I died, it's the end of the world. And now it's like, whatever, it's hard not to die now, but it's so much better just having fun, like it really is, and then just logging off and saying good game to the other side. That's just me personally, to be honest. Not everybody's like that, but I just like to have a bit of fun. I don't care how many times I die, I don't care if we lose. Getting on voice comms with my friends and having a bit of a laugh, win, lose or draw. That's what I enjoy. Same thing. World of the War, getting on there for comms or whatever. I think it's good fun. An active council, listening to players and doing the legwork for gems. I've just mentioned that, and a long-term plan for the server, like Steam launch, something like that. Just so we kind of know what's going on really with it. It's sometimes a bit like, the game masters are obviously they're very busy in real life, which is why I think they should put the stress on more of the, some of the council, the players or the volunteers, outsource a lot of the work and a lot of the, the liaising with the, the player base really. But yeah, I think it's more of a long-term plan for the server, what they want to do with it. Maybe just look, somebody like Dan or Finito going, look, this is what I want to do. It might take a few years, but this is a plan. And I think just that alone might get all these old players who've quit go, oh, okay, there is a long-term plan for the server. They are going to try and get on Steam. Even put a team together who might have some sort of knowledge of how to get it on Steam. And then get them to work at it. Something like, you could put a little bit of a if it costs some money, a bit of a GoFundMe. I'm sure people want to help out, but hopefully, this is my opinion on it, and obviously a few other people's opinion of the state of the game in 2023. So yeah, hope you enjoy that, Soma fans. I'll see you in game.